Welcome to the Soda Podcast, and welcome to Season 1 of the series In Conversation With. Just like good data helps the world go around, so do good conversations. Your host is Maarten Masschelein, CEO and founder of Soda Data. In this series, Maarten will be in conversation with practitioners, technologists, and changemakers who all share a passion in making meaningful connections and rethinking traditional practices. They'll be talking about data, what makes their world go around, and sharing their thoughts, perspective, and ideas that we think will inspire you to be a part of the conversation and be a part of the change. Without further ado, here's your host, Maarten Masschelein.
Welcome everyone to the Soda Podcasts. My name is Maarten and I'll be your host today. This is In Conversation With, and today we're having a conversation with Thiago and Mauricio from Americanas. And let's start with Thiago. Thiago, can you maybe introduce yourself very briefly and what makes you a great listen for this podcast?
Hi Maarten. Hi everyone who is listening us. Thanks for having us here. It's a pleasure for. I'm Thiago. I have over 10 years working on retail, e-commerce, with a lot of experience leading data and product teams that uses information to back up the stakeholder decisions. So I would love to share some of my past knowledge and also learn with you. Thank you.
Awesome, and thanks for being here. So you're dialing in from Rio de Janeiro. Tell our listeners something about Rio or Brazil that everyone should really know about.
Oh, Rio is amazing. Of course, you probably heard about our carnival, but there's a lot of things that we loved here, like the beaches, the weather by itself, the nice place we can go to listen samba, drinking a caipirinha, and we are hoping to have you here soon.
I would love to. I've been, I think what to me feels the closest in Europe, that was Lisbon now a couple of times recently. It was amazing weather, the beaches as well. So I really enjoy that lifestyle. So I hope I'll be there very soon with you guys. So Thiago, tell us something about your journey and how you got here today.
Well, that's an interesting question. I'm a physicist. I did my background also. I had a master in nuclear technology, focus on science. And after that, I decided to join the entrepreneurship business, trying to, in the first steps, build something by my own. So I learned that it's not so easy. I didn't have much experience at that time. And I started applying for what we call trainee programs here in Brazil. And I started at Americanas in 2009, if I'm not wrong. Since there have passed more than 12 years. Inside Americanas, I had the opportunity to work in very different teams with different scopes. For example, I started working in the sales team. I had the opportunity to lead more than 600 persons directly working in a sales task force. I had also the opportunity to lead small teams, 3, 4, 5 people doing some brilliant job. And since 2014, more or less, I started working in technology. So I had a lot of experience developing machine learning system-based to help increase the customer experience, to help reduce costs from the company, etc. And for the past 5 years, I working with a brilliant team to develop our data platform and machine learning platform. So this is my day-to-day, and I have a lot of interesting things to share with you.
Can imagine. What an awesome background. I think it's one thing we have in common. So we're both now in technology and data, but we've both worked extremely closely to the customer.
Yeah.
So it's a very good experience to have, I think. Now, if you look back at the last, let's say maybe 12 years that you're now there at Americanas, what will be for you some of those game-changing kind of moments during that time?
Well, if we think for the past 10 years, could you imagine, for example, in 2007, more or less 15 years ago, we didn't have iPhone, we didn't have any kind of smartphone. So I would say that the most game-changing was the development of the technology by itself in the past 10 years, how it brings democratization, how it brings a globalization of the technology, how you and of course the teams and the companies keep up to date with a lot of different technologies, different ways to solve the same problems. For sure, it was one of the most challenging things we faced in the past time.
That makes sense. Yeah, a lot of things has changed extremely quickly. So when I first got introduced to Americanas, I almost fell off my chair. I looked at the numbers and was like, what? This is crazy. Can you maybe tell our listeners, because I'm sure there's a couple of listeners that don't know about you guys yet.
Sure, it's a pleasure. Americanas, it's a Brazilian retailer. We have nowadays more than 52 million customers, active customers. In our websites, we have more than 130 million products, so you can buy anything. We also have more than 3,500 brick and mortar stores inside all Brazil. So we can warranty that every customer needs could be matched with one of our stores or one of our online products. And of course, it is safe to say that we are present in the daily lives of any Brazilian.
That's amazing. I'd love to dive a bit into the industry. So we've talked about technology, of course, being a big kind of driver for change in the last 10 years. But how would you describe maybe kind of some other key changes or key things that have really impacted the industry as a whole?
Oh, the whole industry of retail or e-commerce in Brazil, it's kind of interesting because if you compare Brazilian market, for example, with US market, we are a few years behind them. So we were the first Brazilian company to launch marketplace here in Brazil. If I'm not wrong, if it was in 2015, and this was one of the things that changed the way we work a lot. Mostly because we increased a lot of the assortment we have for the customers. In the beginning, when we only sell our own products or what we called first-party products, we used to have, I would say, 400,000 SKUs in our websites. As I already mentioned to you guys, we now have more than 130 million products in our websites. So it's a very different scale of assortment. And this make us to change every single piece of our entire platform. Starting from, for example, our search engine, and of course in the last mile, how we can deliver this product the fastest way as possible to meet the customer needs. So I would say for Brazilian market, the launch of marketplace by itself, which nowadays it's very common. There's a bunch of marketplaces in Brazil. Was one of the most important things that happened and changed the way the customers buys, interact with brands, and etc.
Yeah, the customer experience. I think you've alluded to it. The customer needs they have changed drastically, right? And I think data plays a big role in that. So how would you describe kind of the customer needs and the changes there, and how that translates back into your world of data?
Well, Americanas' purpose is bringing together the best in the world to improve the people's lives. So start with that. If you think what the customer needs, it's very different for the same customer in his timeline. For example, if you are a guy who always buy products with free shipping, but sometimes your I would say your refrigerator in your home stop at work, so you can change the way you buy things because one specific need you had. So understand all these behavior changes that faces every single customer. It's one thing that is very important. If we consider, for example, also the evolution of how people want to receive the product, I would say 10 years ago, they are fine to receive the product waiting 5 days, 80 days to receive the product in their home. Today, the people want the product as fast as possible. For example, we have a lot of delivery that we ship to the customer address in only 3 hours. So this is something that is very, very interesting, and how we evolve into this kind of business. And of course, we and everyone won't be able to do this kind of innovation without using data, without understanding the customer patterns, how they buy, what are they expecting, etc. So data is the core of this whole platform, this whole ecosystem, and this kind of decisions we do in a daily basis.
Makes a lot of sense. And I'm curious because here in Europe, we've around regulation in the industry. I think regulation for everyone that has personal data, customer information. There have been a lot of evolutions around kind of what data we can capture for how long, how we document usage of data within a company. So everything around GDPR ultimately. And I'm curious to also learn how that landscape has evolved in Brazil.
Yeah, cool. Here in Brazil, we have another, I would say, group of laws, which we called LGPD. It's kind of similar of GDPR. So I believe every country or every group of countries, like in Europe, they are facing the same issues, the same challenges. So how we can protect the customer, how we can protect its data, and it's not different for us here. I believe LGPD started 2.5 years ago. Every company needs to follow a bunch of rules to make sure the data customer it's safe. It's in a way no one who can't have access can do it. and of course, warranty that if customer wants his data, we can give him that all information we had about his history, his navigation behavior, his orders, etc. So it's almost the same. We just changed some letters in the the name of the loss.
Fantastic. And so you've been now in the industry for, it was 12 years, right? And
Yeah.
Before, yeah. So how, what makes the industry for you very fun and exciting?
Well, if we think about retail, I believe it's a worldwide behavior. It's always a fast-moving industry because you don't need only to react to your business plan. There's a lot of competition inside this market, so sometimes you need to react as soon as possible because one of your competitors changed something and make a kind of innovation. So you need to go as faster as possible to make sure your customers will have the same experience, the same need. I would say not only the environment or the competitors, the market by itself, but also we have a lot of changes on how the people are interacting with online buying process. So this make the work very fun because we need to think on some ways to build products or to build applications or websites that works for that person who are doing the first order online. So every single piece of your purchase flow needs to show a lot of trust, so it's safe, you can do it. And in the other hand, you have those millennials that buy everything online. So they want to do it fast with the best experience as possible, a smooth flow of navigation, etc. So we need to adapt and we need to think in different perspectives to make sure everyone's can feel comfortable using our products. I would say this is the most challenging thing.
So truly fast moving. It's fast moving not only from the goods that need to flow from the warehouses to the customers, but also in how you need to change your daily operations, I guess, as a retailer. So if you think about innovation is of course core in achieving all of that. So what will be the kind of next gen or new innovative thing that you guys are working on that you can share here?
Oh, this is a great question. There's a lot of things I can't share because it's not public yet. But I believe there's one that is very interesting. We launched a few weeks ago our corporate venture capital platform. So for this year, 2022, we are in a way to invest in up to 20 startups. And our idea is help them to drive organic growth using our entire environment. So we are looking for fintechs, we are looking for logistics, we are looking for tech startups that can address something in our environment, which is very, very huge, considering we have brick and mortar stores, we have a lot of online business, we have fintechs, we have logistics platform, etc. And all of this business case it's focused on bringing more open innovation inside the company. So I would say this is a very interesting approach. Again, we are the first Brazilian retailer launching this kind of initiative, and we hope to have a lot of good new business bringing to life inside this venture capital platform.
I love that. I think one of the hardest things as you're starting out with a company, especially if you're a data company, is of course the data, and that's something that you guys can fast track.
Exactly.
So that is fantastic. Great. Now, if we go back to your role, your daily role at Thiago, what will be kind of some of the core challenges that you, or maybe the most important challenge that you have to deal with, and kind of how do you go about it? How do you tackle it?
Well, there's a lot of challenging things we can face considering we handle all data initiatives in Americanas. One of the core challenges we have, and I believe every company has, it's democratize all data initiatives. So how you structure your team, how you make sure everyone has the training sessions to keep evolving, to keep using data in their daily decisions, and how they can make the decisions data informed. This is very different from what we usually see in the past, where someone already has a hypothesis in his mind and look into the data to find the answer for that exactly hypothesis. So we try to change the way people look into the data to build a hypothesis during the journey of understanding your data, understanding your behavior, etc. So you will have in the end a very data-informed solution or a very data-informed discovery to make sure you are in the right way. What this makes sense for us. Understanding the needs of the customer and meeting them. So I believe this is the core challenge we face nowadays.
I love how you describe that, because it's one of the, I've been in a situation like this where data was used to make a point and that person already had the point. And it was very, we didn't truly look at data, build different hypotheses and test them out. Like, we didn't do that. And I think changing a culture to that is extremely important. So that only then you can truly become data informed or data driven. So that makes a lot of sense. I assume when building out a data innovation platform, because we haven't talked about it much, but we have in our prior conversations, that kind of this translates also into some of the core kind of design principles or how you think about innovating with data. Could you talk a bit about that platform that you guys are standing up with or have stood up, of course, within the organization?
Yeah, I can share some highlights, and I will left the best picture for Mauricio. Well, I would say I just shared with you from a business perspective what is challenging. From a technical side, I would say how can you scale your infrastructure? How can you scale your decision process and make sure everyone is using the right data, is using the right information during your entire process of discovery and exploratory analysis. So when we think about our IT, our development ecosystem, for example, we have more than 1,000 APIs that generates log 24/7 the whole year. So how we can make sure we can get all this data flowing in runtime into our platform, cleaning it, transforming, and make it available to the systems and to the persons, to the people, to make sure they can move forward with their projects, products, and decisions. So building these ecosystems by itself in a way that ecosystem is scalable, trustable, and accessible. It's very, very challenging, and I believe this is one thing the teams we built in the past 5 years can hold all of these efforts to make sure the business can meet their needs. So I believe this is the thing which make us a good retail innovation platform.
That doesn't sound like easy feat, standing that up, and especially at that scale. I can't even fathom, how to go about it. It must be like the nature of it. It must be highly kind of agile and incremental and very fast moving, very dynamic. We've talked about these areas. I'm sure that also requires certain personal traits. So what is it like? Maybe more on the personal side, like. What is it like to work in such an environment?
Yeah, it's challenging. In the first step, it's of course very, very challenging. I would say keep up to date from what the technology is evolving. It's the second thing we always discuss inside with the managing team. How we can build solutions that's not locked to any vendor. This is another thing that we usually discuss. And how we can use the open source concept, not only the open source softwares, but the concept by itself. Because the brilliant minds are all around the world. It's not only in our team. So how we can take advantage of some brilliant minds that are developing software and sharing their knowledge into some new feature or some new product, and we can use this to enrich our data environment, our platform, and make sure we are moving faster. So I believe this is the main topics we would love to discuss, and probably this is the way we get to you.
I find it very fascinating. Very fascinating also that this is a core part of kind of your decision-making process, and that is a discussion point at very senior level within the organization. I really like that, and it makes a lot of sense. If you need to move fast, you cannot be locked in.
Exactly.
Because locking in slows you down. Very, very interesting. So what do you find fascinating at this moment?
Whoa. This is a very interesting question. I believe we are in the beginning of a new era of the way people interact with technology. So what catches my attention nowadays, it's all discussions and matters related to Web3, to cryptocurrencies, to NFT. I believe in the upcoming years, we will have a very game change around this new market, this new type of trade things online, and how people will interact with each other. Since the end of the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, we are facing all companies keeping the home office way of work. So we need to develop new technologies to make sure people can interact in the same way if they were in the same room. So for sure, there's a lot of fascinating things to come in the next coming years.
Fully agree. Do you think that translates also to your fellow data leaders? Do you think this is something that's largely industry agnostic, or is it not?
Yeah, I believe it will be for everyone, but talking about specific retail, I believe it will be a, a very fast run to see who will be the first to launch this new way of buying, who will be the first one to launch crypto in the way people use it, your website, buy products, etc. So for retail specific, I believe there will be more changes for than other sectors, for example.
Yeah, I think so too. You guys are truly at the frontier of customer experience in the end. I think a lot of other businesses kind of they follow more. The experience kind of then extends across all other products and services.
Yeah.
For example, including SaaS software services and other things that consumers are buying.
Totally
So
agree.
that makes tons of sense. Let's talk about data teams and like working together and maybe some stories around that, possibly war stories. Is there one that pops in your mind?
Well, there's one that we are very proud of. It was a few years ago, I would say it's 5 years ago, to be honest. During one of the sales season we have in retail, for those who are not familiar with, it's the Black Friday seasons. So we used to have all kind of the data flowing into our platform, and one of the cloud vendors broke the software we were using into our streaming insert logs to transform it into our business metrics. It was not something related to our way of use the software. It's general. It was broken for the entire world. Everyone who was using that product faced the same issue. And it was almost midnight. And Black Friday season in Brazil, it's very, very famous. People wait until midnight to start buying because they believe the discount will just will be available at midnight. So we decided to move as soon as we could, to build a redundancy of this ingestion flow. So in other words, it's we were building the plane during the flight, exactly like that. This is the most real situation we faced. Me, myself, and the team, we hold for more than 36 hours working directly to make sure every single piece of our ecosystem was working properly, and we were not losing any data points to help the business make sure. This was one history every person in the team is very proud of, and of course there is a lot of learning from that. Since that occasion, our entire architecture it's multi-cloud. So nowadays, if we need to switch between one software to another because any cloud vendor were struggling some issue, we are talking about 5 to 10 minutes just to change the configurations and redeploy the software. So we learned a lot about that, but it's a history everyone's remember, and we are very proud of.
Wow, yeah, that must have been a crazy set of days. And it says a lot about the company culture as well, about taking ownership in that moment, and about making it work for the customer. So a true customer obsession, I feel, in that story, which is really really impressive. And also at Soda, we're super happy to have welcomed you guys to the family. We're going to bring in Mauricio in just a little bit. He's a data manager in your team.
Yes.
But before you do that, could you talk a bit about the team structure that you have in place?
Yeah, I can give an overview. So we have specialized teams. So we have a data ingestion team. We have a data analytics team. Data ingestion, it's auto-explainable. Data analytics team, it's the team who run the ETL process and make it self-service for everyone else. We have a data visualization team. We also have a data governance who is responsible for how every single piece of the platform works, which software we are using, if it's safe from a cybersecurity perspective, etc. We have more two teams. One, it's a software development which we call tools team. The name is explainable also. They build software to scale any process we want to develop. And also we have a community team, because it's not only important to have the technology, the platform running, the data available, if we don't change the way people are using. So we believe the community team is the heart of the entire platform. So this is the way we are organized today. And Mauricio is one of the managers who is in charge of the data ingestion team and the data governance team. Also, he leads the tools team. So he's one of the main guys leading the development on the platform.
Mauricio, welcome. It's fantastic to have you here on the show with us. Let's maybe start with an introduction into you and your role. And the key question that comes to my mind is, how do you end up in the role of a data manager?
All right. Hi, Maarten. I'm glad to be here. As I graduated, I already started working with data. I work with data since I was an intern, right? And I passed through some industries like telecommunications, media, and now retail. And I always enjoyed working with technology itself. But as I moved on my career, I also found that I love work with people as well. So being a data manager was a natural path in my career, as I can mix those two skills, technical and interpersonal. So that's why I'm here. That's why I chose to be a data manager.
Fantastic. And I'm sure the skills also translate across the industries. Or were there things that were particular in a certain industry?
I usually say that data is the universal language, right? Mm. So no matter what industry you are, you have to treat the data almost the same way. You have to understand the business, what your business customers need, and try to bring the data as best as you can. Since the ingestion of the data through the transformation delivered, you have to treat the data well, because at the end of the day, the business will be run upon this data, upon the quality of this data. So this is a lesson learned, that it's the same in every industry I worked on.
That makes a lot of sense. And it was for me, when I looked at your profile for the first time and saw your area of responsibility, I was like, wow, Mauricio covers everything from both like engineering teams to data governance, which is much more about business and people and processes. So it's a very broad spectrum in the end. So I'm really curious to learn, like, what does your day to day look like?
Well, yes, indeed, it's a very broad of responsibilities. But as we have a great team, also it make our job easier as well. But as Thiago mentioned before, I manage two teams, actually three teams. The data engineering team, the data integration team, who is responsible to create and maintain the data pipelines, ensure that they are all up and running smoothly with 90% of availability, right? And also the governance team who is responsible to make sure the data is well organized, the data is well managed, which means the quality of the data is good, the data is accessible for the business, and also the data is secure. So at the end of the day, we have these teams working together, right, to make sure we deliver the best data, the best information for the business. So our daily job is to ensure that we provide a good background of data to our business customers.
That makes sense. And what does the kind of operating model look like between those different teams? Are there maybe there's examples of interaction points, or how do they work together ultimately?
Yeah, sure. The data ingestion team, the data engineering team, they are focused on the technology part of the business, right? So creating the integration, managing the APIs, making sure that our infrastructure is running okay, because the business is 24/7, so they have to make sure that all of our data pipelines are monitored and ready to respond to an incident that may happen. And the data governance on the other side is making sure that this data is being well managed, because we have hundreds to thousands of people in the company using that data. So we want to provide them well-organized, and easy to discover data, so they can run their jobs frictionless, right? So that's how these teams work together.
Amazing. So you guys have truly adopted fully self-serve and then making sure that everyone in the organization can be successful with data, while at the same time, of course, making sure you comply with regulations and make sure that everything is done in the right way, which I really enjoy. You mentioned tools, technology, that you're a big fan. Me as well. I love kind of scavenging on the internet and figuring out what's new, what's happening, and then tinkering with things. It's one of my hobbies. What would be a tool or something that you stumbled upon recently that you'd say, well, that's an interesting one to share?
Well, okay. Here at Americanas, we're very proud of having a very talented and skilled team, right? Mm-hmm. So most of the tools we use, we usually prefer using open source tools, because our team likes to know what's going on under the hood, right? So if you see our data stack, they are mostly based on open source tools like Apache Kafka, Airflow, and other tools and languages. We many times we build our own solutions using languages like Python, Golang. And Soda is a good example, because we came upon Soda because it's also has an open source part of the solution, the whole solution, right? So it was we usually try to prefer those kind of tools, right? And hopefully they are all scalable. They are all easy to use, which is important, as we want to scale the use among the company, the tools must be easy. You must be able to create your solutions fast, and then open source tools help us to achieve this goal faster.
Makes sense. I myself was a bit newer to open source, only in actively really involved only in the last about 6 years, and that was a lesson that I've learned as well. That everyone can be much more self-serve and much more successful on their own without having to depend on anyone else is one of the key benefits. So that's great to hear from that. That's something that you guys have truly embodied within the organization as well. Any kind of areas in technology that excite you right now?
Yes. We are looking closely to metaverse, for example, which we believe it's going to be a new stream of revenue, maybe a whole new experience for our customers. And obviously, I believe that there's going to be a lot of data on it to work on. So I think this is a very new, promising technology, and we're looking very closely, very carefully to that, and see how it fits in our business.
Fantastic. And indulge me if you will. So we've recently announced our partnership, and when I read the press release, I had a smile on my face, and the impact was in all different areas. They've talked about process optimization, revenue, or new revenue streams around. It touched both the revenue part, but also the costs, the risks. So that was really, really exciting to read about. Could you maybe talk a bit about your use of our platform within the organization?
Absolutely. Well, until we found Soda, we had some initiatives on data quality, but it wouldn't scale well. So we found that Soda would provide us this ability to scale, to create scans fast. It used to take days to create a scan. With Soda, we can create scans in few hours. So that's how we found that Soda would help us to monitor all of our data pipelines, because our business run, as I said, 24/7. The business team literally take decisions based on the data, on real-time data, and then we believed, and it proved right, that Soda would help us to create these monitorings, these alertings, so we could react fast to any issue, to any incident, and guarantee that the team is receiving good data to take their decisions. So this was our first use case, is to guarantee that our sales information was going to the business team in a good fashion, with good quality. This was the first use cases, and then we also are extending that philosophy for other pipelines as well, right? Soda also helped us because of its self-service capability to scale among all the users in the company, because we believe that we should not only concentrate this responsibility in one team, because it wouldn't scale well. This team would become the bottleneck of the whole process. But if we can deliver this software to our business analysts, our data analysts, they can by themselves create all of their schemes. All of their needs would be fulfilled. And that's why we chose Soda. We found that the features it provides us, the self-service capability, and the ease of use was key for us to go in this path, in this direction.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Puts another smile on my face. So if we go back to technology and technology decisions, what will be something you guys, or you more specifically, will never compromise on when selecting new tech?
Okay. I think this solution must be reliable at first. For our business need, it must be reliable. it has to be also easy to use, as I mentioned, because we believe that we have to scale and easy to use give us the capability of automating it as well. So automation is very important for us as well, and the availability of this tool must be is key for our business as well. I think these are the most important things that we look for. And also, it has to integrate well with our ecosystem, right? So obviously, it is another key area of requirement we have to select a solution.
Fantastic. You mentioned earlier you started off with sales, I guess, revenue data or transactional data, I assume, and bringing that to people so they can make reliable decisions. Are there other use cases or areas that you want to share as well that you're currently working on, maybe different parts of the business?
Yeah, we are implementing the data quality checks, for example, on our machine learning streams as well. As everybody knows, machine learning relies a lot on data, and the models and everything related to machine learning must be trained upon good data quality, because poor data quality will in turn create poor machine learning models. So machine learning team is also taking advantage of the data quality. They are creating themselves their own scans and making sure that they have the best quality data for their needs, for their training. So this is another stream of use of Soda.
Awesome. Yes, there's many examples out there where machine learning models go AWOL, and it's of course all because of the data. We often don't have the observability or the understanding of what's really going on with the data. So it makes a lot of sense that that's a key next use case for you guys. Let's maybe put Thiago on the spot a little bit. What does Thiago give you to really make you successful in your role?
Yeah. Well, Thiago shared with us his vision, the objective of the company in a big picture, and we discussed the goals, we discussed the details of what we want to achieve, and then he empowers us to trust that me and my peers are going to deliver our best. So that's how we work, and I can say it's very successful relation we have by working this way.
Awesome. And what would be a thing that you give back to him?
Well, I could say that is commitment. We're very committed to deliver, and enthusiasm. Why not? I believe that we work with enthusiasm. The job will be done better. The result will be better outcomes.
Amazing. I'm sure, Thiago, you would agree.
Oh yeah, totally agree.
So, Mauricio, when you heard that we were doing podcasts and that you guys will be the first team to join this series, was there anything that came to mind immediately that you thought, well, I definitely want to talk about this or share that story?
Yeah, definitely. We always talk about technology, data, technology stacks, but it should also speak about people. Having the best people with us is very key to our business, right? Nobody does anything alone. So we truly believe that having good people working with you is key to leverage the result of the business. So we are always looking for to have the best people working with us.
Fantastic. And I'm sure there's some careers page somewhere as well that we should put into the show notes so that people can go and find what those opportunities are. You've talked earlier about some parts of the culture which really stuck to me, like the 36-hour end-to-end, fix things, make sure there's no data loss, make sure everything runs smoothly, and you create a great customer experience. And that, I think, is something to truly be proud about. Is there something else that you are proud about, both of you maybe, and things that you've achieved with the team over in the last years that you want to share?
Yeah, one thing. Me? Well, I think we have many events here in our business. As Thiago mentioned, Black Friday is one of the most important. When we are close to event, everyone is very focused, very, very excited, really excited to make things happen in the best way we can. And in the end of the event, we are always happy with the result. Then we can cheer together and have the mission accomplished. So it's very rewarding to see this atmosphere and see the good outcomes that we achieve with all these people working together in this event, for example.
Yeah, in a more general perspective, I also add that we are very proud of our team, and of course in being part of Americanas by itself. The first brick and mortar store was launched in 1929. We are almost 100 years history company, and everyone feels very proud to be part of this history of the history of Brazilian people. The digital business was launched in 1999, so much a slight more than 20 years ago, and everyone is part of the digital transformation that is running into Brazil. So this makes us very proud of what we are doing.
Yeah, it's a true legacy. And, so thanks, guys, for being here today. Before we wrap up, I want to maybe ask one final question. What is something that you guys are really looking forward to? And Thiago, let's start with you.
We also enjoy being here, Maarten. Thank you for the invite. I would say to keep bringing together the best in the world to improve the people's life from a business perspective and from a personal one. Of course, I want to see my baby boy growing and being part of my life.
Awesome. And you, Mauricio?
I hope to make a difference on people's life. In our business, it's very clear that we want to deliver the best to our customers, the best experience, and make the life easier.
And what about you, Maarten?
Well, I hope to have, first and foremost, many more conversations like these. It's truly inspiring, and it really gives a great boost and drive to the things that we're doing as a team. And maybe on a more lightweight note or lighter notes, looking forward to tonight. It's 30 degrees Celsius in Brussels, which is extremely hot for us. So I'll be spending my evening on a rooftop having a barbecue.
Oh, enjoy.
Very nice.
Thank you. Guys, thank you so much for being here today, for sharing all of this. I hope the listeners had a great time as well. I definitely enjoyed it. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Maarten. Have a great day.
That was a great conversation. When our peers share, it's an opportunity to listen. Where others have tried, where others have succeeded, we can learn. Oh, for the power of trusted relationships and this data community. Join the journey and get connected. Follow Soda to be the first to know about new conversations as soon as they drop. We'll meet you back here soon at the Soda Podcast.